to appeal. The strongest basis is that the jury reached a verdict on coercion. It found there was not coercion, and I think the judge said coercion today as a basis for a sentence at least a dozen times. We think that is unconstitutional.
Diddy's own legal team isn't just stepping back, they're walking away entirely. And it's not because contracts are ending. Insiders claim they're trying to distance themselves before everything collapses. This isn't a routine legal shuffle. It signals something far more serious, a situation spiraling out of control while the official narrative tries to stay polished. Sources close to the case say these exits aren't random. The lawyers have seen enough behind the scenes to realize there's no clean way out of this. No simple resolution, no quiet ending. At the same time, the Keefe D trial is locked in for August, and one major question still hangs in the air. Will Diddy be called to testify, or could he actually be named as an accomplice in the Shakur case? Either path leads to consequences. If he takes the stand, his reputation, especially his standing in the culture, could take a major hit in full public view. If he's named as an accomplice, the stakes rise even higher. That would mean more than just legal trouble. It would connect him directly to one of hip-hop's most infamous unsolved cases. There's no middle ground here. No safe outcome. And the people who understand the case better than anyone else? They're already heading for the exit.
Has to be the defense, the consent. Because, look, sometimes you can argue that the activity never happened, right? You know, it wasn't me, defense. But this is not your typical assault case. There are a lot of people there, right? There are people that are arranging the workers. There are people that are setting up lights and cameras, booking hotel rooms. Obviously, Diddy has a large entourage.
When a high-profile attorney steps away from a case, the public usually gets the same polished explanation. Contract ended, routine transition, nothing unusual. That's the version meant to keep things calm and controlled. These lawyers aren't leaving because of expired agreements. They're stepping away because they don't want to be caught in the fallout. That kind of move sends a very specific signal. Legal teams don't walk away from cases they believe they can win. They don't abandon strategies they've spent months building unless they've seen something that changes the entire outlook. And that raises a bigger question. What have they seen that hasn't reached the public yet? Now shift your focus to the timeline. August isn't just another date, it's a turning point. The Keefe D trial is set, and it's not a preliminary step. It's the moment everything moves into the spotlight. The key uncertainty is whether Diddy will be brought in as a witness or potentially linked more directly as a co-conspirator in the Shakur case. Right now, no one can say for sure. That's not speculation. That's where things actually stand. What we do know is that federal prosecutors have already stated, on record, that Combs wasn't operating alone within the broader pattern they're investigating. That detail matters. Meanwhile, Diddy is currently in a low-security facility in New Jersey, and on paper, a revised release date might look like a positive development. But at the same time, reports suggest his own legal team is trying to exit before the August trial even begins.
Yeah. They rejected today an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell to overturn her conviction. That means her only chance of getting out of prison is a pardon from you. Is that something you're...
Who are we talking about?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I haven't heard the name in so long. I can say this, that I'd have to take a look at it. I have a lot of people who've asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
Here's where the contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. On paper, Diddy's situation looks better than it did just 6 months ago. The Bureau of Prisons has adjusted his release date twice, and he's now scheduled to be released on April 15, 2028. His appeal is currently pending before a federal court, and he even secured a courtroom win when a judge dismissed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against NBC Universal. But that victory came with a devastating caveat. The same judge ruled that his reputation had already been damaged long before the documentary ever aired. It's the kind of legal win that feels hollow, almost like a formal acknowledgement that the damage is already done. And yet, none of these developments explain why insiders continue to describe him as fearful and under pressure. That's where the narrative stops lining up. Because people who are confident in their outcome don't behave like that. They don't project desperation or panic. When someone appears shaken despite favorable developments, it usually points to something happening beneath the surface, something the public hasn't seen yet. Right now, there's a clear gap between what the official legal timeline suggests and how he's reportedly reacting behind the scenes, and that gap raises a serious question about which version reflects reality. According to those close to the situation, Diddy isn't sitting in a low-security facility in Fort Dix calmly waiting for his appeal to play out. Instead, he's described as someone who feels increasing pressure, even as his release date moves closer. Normally, when a defendant sees their timeline improving, there's a sense of relief. They begin to look ahead, to plan, to regain a sense of control. But in this case, the reported behavior suggests the opposite. There are allegations from prosecutors claiming he has been attempting to bypass monitoring systems by using other inmates' phone accounts, trying to contact potential witnesses, and even directing financial transactions through commissary channels. Whether proven or not, those claims paint a picture of someone trying to manage a situation that feels like it's slipping out of control. When you step back and look at the broader landscape, the pressure doesn't appear to be easing, it's intensifying. New civil lawsuits continue to emerge, filed by individuals who say they've waited years to speak out. Each filing adds another layer of scrutiny, another wave of attention, reinforcing the sense that this situation isn't settling down, it's gaining momentum. The earlier defamation ruling already made it clear that the court viewed his public image as significantly damaged, and yet the flow of new allegations hasn't slowed. More accusers are coming forward, more legal actions are being initiated, and more voices are entering the conversation. That's not what a situation looks like when it's stabilizing. It's what it looks like when it's accelerating in a direction that becomes increasingly difficult for any defense team to contain.
In the moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this like a test?
We also need to look at the people staying silent, because that silence is meaningful. Tanika Ray, a former backup dancer for Diddy, has already said publicly that nothing happening right now surprises her. She called her 1996 experience horrific and said only 5 people know what really happened, and she may never share it. That's not a courtroom accusation, but it's still a signal. People who are close to him aren't defending him or dismissing the allegations. They're hinting this has been known for years. In a moment like this, silence from insiders can carry as much weight as speaking out. At the same time, prosecutors allege that from prison, Diddy used at least 8 other inmates' phone accounts to avoid monitoring and kept communication going through payments and commissary deposits. That's not a one-time mistake. It suggests a system. Even while being held, he's accused of reaching out and trying to influence things. If that's already on record, it raises concerns about what happens as his release date gets closer. Now bring it back to August. The Keefe D trial isn't waiting. If Diddy testifies, his reputation takes a permanent hit. If he's named as an accomplice, he faces a whole new level of legal risk. There's no middle ground. And the people who should be guiding him through this are reportedly stepping away. Meanwhile, there's still talk of sealed evidence and unreleased video, leaving even more questions hanging. Intro. We keep hearing that more people are getting ready to come forward, and with every new detail, the August trial starts.
If he gets 14 months, if the defense gets what they want, he'd essentially get out October 3rd because
he's been in
for a year,
months.
And you get 15% credit for time served. So he'd basically be out after the sentence, and then he'd be on supervised.
To feel less like a normal proceeding and more like a breaking point. Diddy isn't walking into that courtroom as a neutral figure. He's walking in while reports say his own lawyers are trying to step away. His reputation has already been described in court as damaged, and his connection to one of hip-hop's biggest unsolved cases could be publicly defined.
Following breaking news out of New York City, the jury in the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking trial has reached a verdict on 4 of the 5.
I'm happy to go. So we think that's just absolutely inconsistent with the jury's verdict. I mean, the jury's verdict was resoundingly clear. There was no trafficking, there was no racketeering, everything was consensual, everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror,
Yes,
one
he
that we
did.
did not choose, and that he second-guessed